This episode is particularly for the businesses, the decision makers within businesses, the entrepreneurs, the solopreneurs, the creativepreneurs, or I guess even folks in corporations who are feeling the thinness of the budget. The money just doesn't feel like it's there. And you feel like if you had the money, you'd be able to scale like you want to. But for some reason, the math ain't mathing right now. This episode is for you.
Hey, I'm Brianna Régine, an award-winning brand growth strategist for entrepreneurs and decision makers who feel stuck and are ready to get strategic about reaching their next level. But let's be clear. In this podcast, we ditch the highlight reel and get into the raw, real stories of what it takes to build a brand from the people making it happen. No more perfect perceptions of success, no more unrealistic expectations, no more feeling powerless. This is your go-to space for the real deal Holyfield about business growth, full of obstacles, funny stories, real talk, self-reflections, hot takes on current events, and must-have tips. If you've got a fresh idea brewing, you're a sucker for new strategies and insights, or you need to be reminded of how freaking dope you are, this podcast is for you. Let's get into it.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Brand Unveiled podcast. I am your host, Brianna Régine. Yeah. And today we are going to talk about how to maximize what you have so that way you can increase your revenue and your scalability. And this episode is particularly for the businesses, the decision makers within businesses, the entrepreneurs, the solopreneurs, the creativepreneurs, or I guess even folks in corporations who are feeling the thinness of the budget. The money just doesn't feel like it's there. And you feel like if you had the money, you'd be able to scale like you want to. But for some reason, the math ain't mathing right now. This episode is for you, and my hope is that it'll be a reminder of what you can do to make progress towards the goal that you're trying to achieve. How do I know? Because I'm literally doing it right now. So, by the end of this episode, my hope is that you'll be able to take my insight and turn it into action, consistent action. So, this is going to be not a super long episode, hopefully bite-sizable information and perspective that will give you just a light bulb on how to go about thinking differently on how you can still reach your goal. So when it comes to increasing your revenue, putting yourself in a position to scale, the very first thing that I want you to do is audit your skills. This is something that could easily be overlooked. What? Overlooked is happening, guys. You know, sometimes I get tongue-tied. I don't know what's going on. Auditing. Let me pull it together. Auditing your skills is essential because 9 times out of 10, you probably have the method or the approach to get to where it is that you want to. You just haven't put any action behind it. Now, I'm not saying that you don't need to seek outside resources, support, expertise. Maybe you do, but even before you do that, chances are you've experienced some level of analysis paralysis. How many webinars, how many white papers, how many articles, how many TikTok videos that are saved in your category under, I don't know, a name titled work, things to use for work, skills, should consider this, whatever the name may be. Maybe I'm incriminating myself. How many times are you gonna circle back to those kinds of informational tools and not do anything with that information? where I am right now, it is January, what date is it? January 16th, I'm recording this. Back in November, December, I started to talk internally to myself about lead gen. How do I get more leads? How do I really do that in 2025? Because I know that it is something that I need, but I haven't really gone full throttle with going after it. Honestly, I've outsourced, I've had coaches, I've attended the webinars, all of the things, but I haven't really done anything consistently. And it wasn't until I came across someone on LinkedIn and I set up a discovery call with her. And from that discovery call, which was great, by the way, I just heard the clear articulation of my problem and the clear solution in a way that was different from all of the other times. And that was the aha moment for me, where it was like, girl, put your big girl panties on and get to work. Okay? How many more times do you need to hear the same thing? How many more different ways can it be said? It can't be. It's all on you now. And so I didn't necessarily open all of the notes I've ever taken on a webinar or from a white paper. I didn't do any of that. Instead, I went to the basics of the rule of thumb whenever you're pitching a product or service or whatever solution: one person, one offer, one transformation. And when I broke it down like that and considered what has been making the most money and also what current labor and resources I have to support more demand of that particular offer, it was a no-brainer for me. It was a no-brainer. And this is the first time that I feel like the skills that I've obtained about lead generation and sales and storytelling in alignment with sales and sales psychology really is what I'm trying to say. This is the first time where I'm enabling those skills to create rewards for me. And I already see it. Guys, it's January 16th. I've only pitched our operation services, to be very specific, to workforce development programs for maybe like 51 organizations. I just did the number last night. 51 organizations. Out of those 51 organizations that I've contacted thus far, 7 booked calls with me. That's about 13% if I'm remembering the information correctly. And out of the 7 calls, I sent 4 proposals. That puts me at about a 10% out of the 13 conversion rate. And the total potential earnings is a 5-figure number. It's only January 16th. And I reached out to a small pool of people. The amount of solicitations I get for lead generation where folks are like, I can reach out to 100 to 200 people a day, blah, 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 which is just like, whatever. If you want me to make another episode about lead gen and how to go about doing that in my way, in a way that doesn't feel icky, I'm happy to make an episode about that. But the fact that I'm able to see the rewards, that's so exciting. And the fact that I've just been sitting on these skills and I haven't really done anything with it for a variety of different reasons is all the more reasons why you should audit your skills. You know what's possible for you to do, so just do it instead of thinking that you need another resource to tell you what to do. Which brings me to my second point, which is audit your resources. Like, how can you make best use of the money that you do have right now? How can you get additional funding if that's something that you feel you need? And the answers to these questions, you guys, at least from my experience, comes in the form of literally just asking for help. And I know that can be hard because you don't want to feel like you don't know what you're doing, or maybe you're not using the right terminology, or you don't even know who to ask. I'm telling you guys right now, one, if you're watching this episode and you want some form of direction about who you could potentially ask to get more money or to determine how to make the best use of the money that you do have, please send an email. Send an email to info@brvisionaryconsulting.com and I will get back to you. Okay? But aside from me, go to your local small business organizations that advocate for your success. Here in Connecticut, they have the SBDC, which is the Small Business Development Center. There are women development councils. There's the Small Business Administration. Like, there are so many free, these are also free resources, guys, that are available to help you and give you the knowledge and fill in the gaps that you may need filled in order to go ahead and ask questions and position your business to be able to receive the resources that you're seeking. And still, when you get those resources, be conservative. Be conservative with them. Okay? Thirdly, I want you to audit your labor, aka who is doing the work. Are there certain teammates that you could lean on to support you to do revenue generating opportunities? Are there teammates that maybe if you had a powwow session with them, they'll free up your mental capacity to rethink about how you're approaching generating more revenue and putting your business on a place to scale because they said something that you didn't even think of. They gave you a whole new idea for approach, or sometimes they just help you level set. Like sometimes you could find yourself in a position where something's like a really big deal, or it seems like it's a really big deal and needs to be done now, or it's prioritized, or it just has to happen this particular way. And you get so caught up in that sometimes talking it out loud allows you to see the reimagining that can take place to be more efficient and probably more effective at doing whatever the action is, which means guess what? You're going to make your revenue a little bit more quicker. And you're going to get to your scalability goal a little bit more quicker. So take a look at your current team, your current network. Who is available to you that could support the revenue generating opportunities that you need to be prioritizing? I like to think that if you audit your skills, your resources, and your labor, you'll reveal to yourself where action needs to happen, which kind of also relates back to last week's episode when I was talking about the importance of operations management and why organizations are losing money by not focusing on operations management. And I talked about the importance of categorizing your priorities and then creating systems for it. It's kind of the same thing here, where audit what's readily available to you so that way you can see a pathway to progress. And then do it consistently. Do those actionable steps consistently. It doesn't have to be the biggest output. Like, I'm not pitching 100, 200 people a day yet. I'm doing what I can right now. But with that small amount of output that I'm doing right now, I'm seeing wins. I'm already in a better position than I was a year from now, let alone years ago, just by taking action that I haven't truly, and I mean truly, given myself a chance to take. And that's exciting to me because I'm like, okay, if I can get these kinds of results and potentially make this amount of money, then imagine what I'd be able to do if I just stay consistent. I keep reminding myself that, okay, let me take this data here, that data here, and have it inform my decision making, where I will be 3, 6, 9, 12 months from now. The revenue goal and the capacity to scale with that revenue is way closer than I think, just by me auditing my current situation, my current circumstances, and then revealing to myself the pathway to progress and taking action. So that's what I want y'all to do. Stop playing. Stop playing with it. Follow these steps, and I want you to report back to me in about 30, 60 days. It could be in the comments, it could be in the DM, it could be in an email. I want to know if any of these auditing areas that I spoke about on today's episode reveals to you opportunity for more revenue and more scalability in your business, within your organization. I'm curious. I want to know. And if you feel like this insight would be helpful to a colleague, a peer, someone in your network, please share it. Also, like, comment, leave us a review, subscribe, all of the things, so that way we can continue to, I say we, it's me, so that I can continue to reach more entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, creativepreneurs, and decision makers within municipalities, nonprofit organizations, corporations, everything under that wheelhouse. I can reach more of them, because if I can be someone who offers a different perspective when it comes to business, and I would hope an entertaining way, one that's not stuffy and rigid and absolutely boring, darling, to listen to, I would love to fall upon their ears. So thank you so much for listening, you guys. I will be back again with another episode next Tuesday. You don't want to miss it. And I hope you guys audit and take action. It's going to pay off. I'll see you next time. Bye.